Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for being here. And ultimately, thank you so much for gracing your presence here on my channel. It is early in the morning. To be exact, it is 8:13. Let me start this timer because I know how I get when I talk. I can talk for days. So just make sure we don't run over time. So I do have somewhere to be today because today is my birthday. Woo! So I'm having a cup of coffee with you. So go ahead and, ooh, look at the steam. So go ahead and grab your favorite cup of coffee or your favorite tea to drink or whatever you like to drink in the mornings. And let's just chat a little bit so I can talk to you guys about some of the things that I've learned in my 23 years of living. 23. Jordan year. Some of the things that I've learned is, one would be patience, and we've talked about that, and I'll go into detail more. Another thing is that to be kind to myself and to be grateful. Those are three major key points that is essential to your development in life. So, and when we talk about patience, just to hit on it just a little bit more, a lot of times it's not necessarily in this instance of what I'm talking about that we're rushing off to do the next thing. It's more so that we're not having patience with who we are. We're not taking our feelings into consideration when we go about certain things or when we pursue different people. Sometimes they're not in our best interest, and we won't know that because we're not patient with ourselves to know the difference. So patience for me has really been a gift this year because I've learned how to manage my feelings now, or my emotions I should say. Now this the patience comes and goes. It's not something you master because it's something that you're going to have to keep learning, just because people can push your buttons, you can push your own buttons, you can freak yourself out. Sometimes you can psych yourself out, and mental health is everything. So having patience is really a virtue, because I know sometimes where we'll feel this person out and we'll think that they're so just everything on the outside is just the tea, right? But then when we dive deeper, or sometimes we don't even give ourselves the chance to dive deeper into that person. And the reason why I talk of like people or relationships or whatever type of ships that you form, is because it's so common in my age group and my peers and even people that are older than me. So, you know, when you before you even dive deeper into that person, you're so distracted, I should say, by the outer appearance that you forget to look deeper. And before you know it, I mean, let's just be frank, you're in bed with them, or you're texting them, or you're calling them, or sometimes it's even gone a step further where you may be marrying them and you don't even know who they are. Now, why is that though? Why is it that we don't have patience with ourselves? And I blame the future. We're definitely in the future because everything is moving so fast, but really it's no one to blame because life moves at all different paces, and you can't expect something out of nothing. If you don't give anything, you can't expect anything in return. The universe calls, you receive the answer. Um, so when having patience, like, it takes time to learn, and for me, that I have learned my patience through meditation, because it allows me to not just be patient with someone else, but be patient with myself, and to know who I want, or what job I may want to go to, or what friendship I may want to form. So it's all in patience. It's all in due respect of yourself, your mind, body, and health. So this is not to like steer you away and say, hey, be careful of who you talk to, but it is in a sense saying, be careful of who you're letting control your mind. Oh, it's okay. I need another sip. Because it's like Wendy Williams. It's so easy to let other people take control because we don't want to be in control half the time. We want people to take care of us. We want people to, you know, we want to depend on someone else to bring us that fortune and bring us that loyalty and that respect. But if we don't give it to ourselves first, how can we ever expect someone else to give it to us? So to wrap patience up, it's really just a form of letting your mind calm down, letting your heart relax, and letting your body come to its center. Because not everybody is good for you, girls. And not just girls, guys too. But I reach out to my women just because we're emotional creatures by default. We give so much of us so many times that we drain our mind, we drain our body, we drain our heart from ever wanting to love again. So, but if we can be patient and we can start meditating and we can start praying if you don't meditate, if we can start relying on ourselves, on our mental health, and being responsible and being accountable for our own emotions, then you can build a better world for yourself. But alongside that, I've learned kindness and to be kind to myself and to respect myself, because no one's gonna give that to me if I don't do that. If I just walk around looking any kind of way, having different mean facial expressions on my face, dressing like who did it and why, and knowing that I can do better, I'm not being kind to myself. And no one else is gonna be kind to me either. And the gist of it is, you have to be kind to yourself, you know, because sure, people can give to us, but how much of that are we giving to ourselves? Someone can give to us and give and give and give, but that can be so shallow and never even reach the surface if we don't know what it means to be kind to ourselves. Sometimes consciousness to me is a very big deal, because a lot of people, we suffer from that. We suffer from our subconsciousness because we don't like to think. You know, we like to, sometimes we give so much of ourselves that we completely are empty by the end of the day. And there's nothing wrong with giving, but it's all due in retrospect, you know. And getting off on a tangent, just being kind to yourself and being patient with yourself starts with just your personal hygiene, your personal, you know, thoughts. You know, are you having kind thoughts? Are you telling yourself nice things, or do you want someone else to tell you that? Are you waiting for someone else to tell you how good you look, or are you going to tell yourself? Are you waiting for someone else to tell you that you're not okay, or you're going to tell yourself that you're not okay, and you're going to help yourself change that factor because you want to be great and you want to prosper. And it all starts with being kind. Once you're kind to yourself, you're kind to others, and the same thing happens in return. if I feel like a queen and I know I'm a queen, I'm going to treat myself like a queen should be treated. Because if I treat myself like a queen should be treated, when the next person comes along, the next guy or whomever friendship comes along, they have to reach a certain standard. And if that's one of the issues that is driving me nuts with my generation, with generations to come, and sometimes older generations, just depending on who you are, we are losing our standards. We're not setting those standards anymore. we're letting people come into our lives and they're not kind to us. We're doing things to ourselves, whether it's drugs, whether it's money, whether it's a job, whether it's alcohol abuse, whether it's mental abuse. I mean, the list goes on. We're doing it to ourselves because we're not setting high standards for ourselves. You know, we're just falling for anything. You don't stand for nothing, well, you're going to tip over. So you have to be kind. You have to understand what that word means. Because, you know, and that's not to say, oh, you go around being just this nice and, you know, don't have a firm ability about yourself. This is talking about you. This is not talking about what you do to other people, because other people don't matter when it comes to you and your health and your growth and your personal development in life and how you speak to the universe and how you call to God. I mean, I can speak very wholly about God and how I feel, but I try to stay away from that because everybody doesn't believe the same thing. But my point is, believe in yourself, have respect for yourself, be kind to yourself, because it feels good. It really does. Like, to say nothing else, but it feels good to be respectful, to be kind to myself, to know that I'm okay, to know that I can treat myself to nice things because I'm a queen. And not only that, I'm a nice person to myself. I don't try to damage my mind with negative thoughts, you know, and telling myself I can't do this, or this won't happen, or I'll never see this day through, you know. And throughout my day, I practice breathing techniques. I practice saying kind words in my head, even if it's like 2-minute meditation or 5-minute meditation. I meditate so often just because it's needed. This life is crazy, and if you don't get with yourself, you can lose yourself in life. The last thing I want to talk about is, excuse me, being grateful. Being grateful and accepting. Being grateful. Being grateful, of course, we knows what that means, right? Just having appreciation for the things that come in life, but it doesn't necessarily have to be things. It can be persons, it can be your thoughts, it can be, you know, how you treat yourself, it can just be anything. Having gratitude will take you so much further than being negative or, you know, wanting for so much. I feel like, you know, my generation, my peers, even people, and I say people older than me because, you know, age doesn't matter when it comes to life. You know, life happens to everybody. But I say this to say, we want for so much in life that we don't take the time out to say thank you. You know, we don't say thank you enough. We just want gimme, and expect, you know, just everything to flow our way. So to be grateful is to accept what you already have and appreciate it. Greatness, acceptance, appreciativeness. So, you know, gratefulness comes in abundance. Gratitude comes in abundance. You know, it's very therapeutic to say thank you, and a lot of times it doesn't necessarily have to be thank you to someone else, you know. And I'm not saying don't be grateful, but I'm saying thank yous can come from yourself. Again, this is about personal growth. This is not necessarily about anybody else. This is about what I've learned, what I've experienced in my 23 years of living. So being grateful and showing that gratitude towards yourself and saying those thank yous can really help your mental and your mind change from one thing to the next, then you're allowing, it's not the sense of where you're just accepting anything that comes, but you're accepting of where you are. You're accepting of how things are going, because you know that there's a brighter day. You know there's a brighter future for you. You know that there's so much coming your way, because you've called it to your attention. You've called it to your existence. Being grateful is just understanding, being grateful to yourself, and understanding, you know, where you're coming from and where you've been. Then you're allowing yourself to appreciate the things that you do. You know? Because if you're not kind to yourself, if you're not patient with yourself, then how can you ever show gratitude towards yourself? And it's all about you and how you grow and how you personally see that brighter day. You have to appreciate everything, you guys. Even the bad times, you have to appreciate it. Because how will you ever know, what that feels like? If you don't know what it feels like, you'll keep going back to it. If you know what it feels like and you know you don't want to be there, you'll never return. Or when it does come up, when you do hit that bump in the road, you'll stop at attention. And you'll be like, nope, I've been through this. I'm not going back. A lot of times people go through the same thing over and over because they forget what that felt. They forget that feeling. They forget what it felt. Remember the old saying where it says forgive but never forget? When you don't remember, ooh, this hair, child. When you don't remember what you've been through, when you don't recall, when you deny, and you're in denial of the things that you've been through, where do you see yourself? How do you see yourself? Then you'll always just revert back to that abnormal situation, or that abnormal person, or that normal, thought, or that abnormal action that you always do. You know what I mean? Bad habits repeat itself, but not if you can stop it at attention when you recognize it in the face of its value. If it's not worth anything, you keep moving, you keep going, and you keep growing. So, I'm not going to let this video go on too much longer. I just want to say thank you guys so much for joining me on my birthday. This has been a time of Treehouse Talks, and I can't wait to see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button if you like these type of contents, and I'll see you in my next video. Have a blessed day, you guys, and be grateful, be mindful, be kind, be kind to yourself. And what was the other thing? Be patient. Have patience. It's a virtue. Alright guys, see you later.